You are listening to the Light FM's Girl Talk podcast, brought to you by the Stoner Group and UBS Financial. My name is Carol.
This is Alicia.
This is Tricia.
And we're so glad that you've joined us today. We're tackling a tough topic, something I think to some degree most women struggle with in some social circles, insecurity. So where do we even start with that one? It started with me from a very young age. I can remember I always wanted to fit in. I always wanted to have a best friend. I never did. I was just everybody's friend, you know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd never really connected in that way with anybody. But I remember it hit me when I would walk into the lunchroom. And you would start looking around. Looking around, and you're like, there's no empty seats with the cool kids. There's no empty seats with the drama kids. There's no empty seats with the cheerleader. Where do I sit? And that social insecurity starts.
That was terrible. That was trauma for me.
What,
middle
really?
School lunch.
Middle school lunch. Yeah.
I had a best friend in middle school, and we were on different lunch shifts.
Oh no!
And I ended up. There was only one girl I knew in the whole lunchroom, and so I sat with her. It was just her and me at a table for like 10, and she read a book all day long, all lunch, the whole lunch. So I just sat there with nothing to say. And I think that has stuck with me for a long time, what that meant.
But let me just say, let me just stop you right here and point out something. That God has totally redeemed that by putting you on the Girl Talk podcast.
Thank you.
I'm serious. I mean, because you do have lots to say, and you're a valuable part of this team.
But it was hard. At that time, it was hard because you felt rejected, and you felt like no one liked you, and you didn't have friends. And I know that's not true, that it was just a situation but it was just, it's like everybody else is sitting with someone that they can chat with and talk with. And, you're in middle school, those are those awkward years. Yep. And
I'm still in those awkward
years. And I got stuck with the girl who wanted to read a book.
Oh, girl. I know. It's so brutal.
We
I
choose you,
that.
Alicia.
Yes.
We choose you.
I'm glad you're sitting here.
Yeah.
I did something bad in middle school. I would just
Did
change.
you read a book?
I didn't read a book.
Were you that girl?
I would do anything to fit in. Like, I would say what you wanted me to say. I would do what you wanted me to do. And I remember this awful situation. It still bothers me to this day, and I can't get a hold of this person to apologize. But there was this girl, and they wanted to, the group that I was with wanted to avoid her sitting with us at lunch. And so they would hide and do things to avoid her. And I still remember that. And I knew it was wrong. I knew it was bad. I knew I didn't want to do it. But I was so terrified of, messing up my place in the group that I went along with it. Isn't that awful? Yeah. Flog me. I need it.
We all do it.
But it's true. That's hard to break away from that and be the one person that does the right thing.
Well, I'll say this. Even people who seem very secure, because I seem like I'm a very secure person as an adult.
You're gregarious and funny and fun and beautiful.
I'm not. I really have a lot of insecurities. Yes. Like I used to do, I don't do it much anymore, but I used to do a lot of speaking. And I would go to things and people were like, you've never met a stranger? And they get this idea that you're not insecure because you talk to everybody.
Get in front of people,
but I kind of make the joke before you have a chance to, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I would make jokes and get people laughing and kind of disarm them before they had a chance to not like me, you know? So I think you have to be careful when you're trying to pinpoint, is this insecurity? Because it can come in a variety of different ways. It can come, by not getting involved, but it can be that overly, because I've always been too much. I mean, always. I never knew when to quit when I was growing up. It was funny the first time, but on the 84th time, I thought it was even funnier. No one else did, and so I always overdid it because I was so insecure. Yeah. And even to this day, I'll find myself like, if I go out and we do an event somewhere, the hardest part for me is going on the ride back home. Yeah. Because in my head, I'm thinking, I sounded like an idiot.
You're judging yourself, right?
And I think we're harder on ourselves than like we think everyone thought I did a bad job or that wasn't good, and or my outfit doesn't look right. No one else probably even noticed any of it. We're so hard on ourselves. And why? I don't know. Why is that?
I don't know, but one terrible thing of insecurity is if somebody's in a bad mood or if they're upset, I'm like, they're mad at me. Yes. What did I do? Yes. I must have said the wrong thing. Yeah. I must have bad breath. Yes. I don't know. Maybe it's all of the above. Yes. But you tend to think everybody's mood is regarding you. That's a pitfall that I fall into.
Yeah, I fall into
insecurity.
that too.
Well, and you know what? I wasn't going to say this, but I guess I'll
say it.
Okay, so mine is like photographs of me on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've struggled with my weight for years. And so when I see a picture of myself on Facebook, I mean, I'm almost to the point where I don't look anymore.
Oh.
Because people take pictures of me, you know, with listeners and stuff, and I love the listeners. I'm loving to do that. But it's hard for me because when I look back at those pictures, I'm thinking, I look bad, or, you know.
I just did that. I just went on a trip, and I met all these amazing children in Africa, and we took selfies together, and they have these beautiful faces, big eyes. Mm-hmm. And I was going through the pictures, and I noticed gray hair. Because I was hot, my hair wasn't, and so like right on the side of my face, the gray is showing in the pictures, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look so old in these pictures, and I was hoping for like the perfect pictures and.
Yes.
Or the filter to kick in.
Yeah, I know. I didn't have any Instagram filter or anything, and because those things are good, those filters are really nice.
Yeah,
but. I know that was hard. I was like, I'm feeling old.
I'm going to tell you both something, and it's not going to matter, sadly, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to say, Alicia, I saw those pictures, and you look beautiful.
You did.
You do. You look beautiful. I never saw a single gray hair. You look gorgeous and glowing and happy and beautiful. And Carol, I wish you knew what the rest of us saw when we looked at you. You're beautiful,
so true.
and you're just. Beautiful.
You always say, don't use
glowing.
that picture, don't use that picture. I'm like, those are good pictures.
I know, because there's this one picture that
we
had.
She told me today.
I know. I said it today in the staff meeting.
She's like, I'm going to get fired if I use a particular picture.
She said, I got to change the website. I was like, do not use that one picture. And you know exactly the one I'm talking about.
I think
it looks like somebody, hooked an air hose up to my face and pumped for about 5 or 6 pumps. You know, I mean, it really does. You've seen it.
I know. Well, I'm going to be updating. I know.
So don't put that picture up there because I will.
She has the power to fire me.
So. I will put something
Alicia's
in your
still here next week. We know that.
It's a modified Girl Talk podcast.
Right, that's right. I saw something funny. It said profile picture on Facebook and the person looked beautiful, and then it said tagged picture on Facebook and the person looked awful. I was like, that's so true. People tag pictures. I'm like, I wouldn't have put that up for anything.
I know. It's so true. And I've even seen on Facebook I don't know what they call it when it's a longer form, but it's a post that people copy and paste, and it starts out, I've hated this woman, and it goes through, some of the talking about how we are so hard on ourselves and that we're becoming more comfortable with who we are the older that we get. But I'm interested to know what can we give as some strategies and helps to understand, because it is true, we all somehow end up there, I don't know.
I don't know the answers, but we
were really hoping you would.
Gosh, Alicia.
I think part of it is like we focus society. There's magazines. There's Instagram filters. There's all these, and like every woman I look at on Facebook or Instagram has like fake eyelashes. It's the new thing is like you have to have these super long eyelashes, and so I've been thinking like my eyelashes look really short.
Got such stubby eyelashes. I can't go to work.
Oh my word!
We have to remember that stuff isn't
We've been
real.
talking about your stubby eyelashes for years.
This is an intervention. No, it is not. You are gorgeous.
Well, today I was thinking your eyelashes look really nice, Tricia.
I put extra mascara on.
You're not wearing your glasses so that I can notice some more.
So, but why is it we focus in on the little things and we forget? Because I want to be able to look at pictures and see my heart.
Yes.
I want to look at pictures and see the joy that I have because I've met this new friend, or somebody listens to us on the Girl Talk podcast or on the radio or things like that. I want to be able to see through those filters and not have to have a filter. So how do we live life unfiltered?
I think you make the choice. I think it's a choice that you keep making.
Yeah.
And I've had the same thing. I've been really bothered by like wrinkles around my eyes. I'm like, somebody said this, the most attractive thing you can wear is a smile. And that is so true. I don't judge you when I see you. I don't judge you. I judge me, but I don't judge you.
Right.
So when I see you smile, it makes me happy and I think you're beautiful. And if we could try to give ourselves a little bit of that grace,
Yeah.
But make the choice to do it. And I think also just continuing to think inwardly, like, am I being pretty inwardly? Because if I'm being pretty inwardly, then maybe it just doesn't matter what I look like outwardly as much.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying. I'm not successful all the time with that, but that's what I've been trying to do.
Well, and I think about some of the most lovely people that I have known have not been the most attractive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that, I'm saying, I'd much rather have a heart that loves people than a figure that stuns people.
Yes.
You know?
Good.
Yes.
I'd much rather have that. But in the heat of the moment, I will take pictures. But it's an insecurity for me. That's where it all stems from. But I do want to live my life filter free, and I feel like the older you get, maybe some of that starts to matter less.
I do think the older I get, it helps a little bit.
I'm telling you. So since I lost my mom, it's changed me, and I am feeling like I am not going to sweat the small stuff. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it. And that's the kind of perspective that makes me worry less about what my outfit looks like. Although I tried hard on this
super
outfit.
cute.
It's kind of a new shirt, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Seriously, don't sweat the small stuff. I think the older I get, the more I'm able to truly grasp that.
Okay, so if you're young and you're listening to this, stop stressing over it. Stop. Enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Be healthy. I mean, we're not saying go out and,
Right.
be healthy. Take care of yourself. But at the same time, don't spend so much time worrying about those things that aren't going to matter. Because, all of us are getting older. Nobody escapes that. Nobody escapes the wrinkles. Well, unless they have Botox. And it's really expensive, I hear. So
I've tried it. It goes away after 6 months. Yeah. You have to do it all over again. I'm telling you. I mean, that's what a friend said. Stop looking at my forehead. Stop.
I was not expecting it to go there. I love it. Yeah, we're real and raw here on the Girl Talk podcast, and you just got a prime example of it. But I think we do. With technology, we're so used to being able to filter everything. And a couple years ago, I was so convicted because somebody was saying, you take pictures of your food, you take pictures of your kids, but you miss the whole experience of being there, of being fully present in whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's eating a meal or talking to your kids or watching them perform at school. Yeah. Put the phone down because all you're going to have at the end of that experience is a picture when you could have had that experience.
Memory.
And the memory.
Exactly.
Your own memory is better than any video or photo.
Or filter.
It's true.
And that's what you're going to remember is...
Because your own memory is going to... There won't be a filter. You're going to remember it the way you felt it, the way you saw it and felt it.
Right.
And if you're so focused on everything else, you're going to remember it the way you filtered it.
Yeah. And I think there's so much pressure to get the right angle and the right this and the right that. Like, I wouldn't even post half of my videos because they're wonky and, that you can see the trash can over here in the corner, or the messy house or the dogs that are always yapping, whatever it is. So quit worrying so much. Take some pressure off yourself. Enjoy your life. God has called us to live abundant lives. And last time I checked, don't think God has a filter for you and me. He sees us just as we are.
Yep.
And he loves us anyway because that's who he is. But he has truly paid for us an abundant life. And I think we ought to enjoy it, doggone it.
Yes.
So let's do that. Don't put that picture up of me. You knew we'd end
Maybe
up
I'll
there.
hold that in my back pocket.
Ooh.
Is that a threat?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we go airbrush it a little bit. Mark out 2 of my chins. Anyway, we just love having you here on the Girl Talk podcast. We love doing life with you. And we want to thank our friends at the Stoner Group and UBS Financial for their support of this podcast. We could not do it without them, and we could not do it without you. If you've got thoughts or strategies at fighting insecurity, you can always email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org, and we'll see you next time we gather around these microphones for the Light FM's Girl Talk podcast.